So, hello, KMMA tribe, friends, and family. This is my 28th. This is my 28th podcast today, and it's also my 53rd birthday. So today's a very special podcast. But I made a commitment. I wrote it earlier this week as I was planning the week that today on my birthday I would put out a 53rd birthday blog and a 53rd birthday podcast. So that is exactly what is happening here. I'm going to share with you the same thing that I shared in the blog this morning, which is some reflections over my last 53 years of life. And I'd like to share a few thoughts, my favorite lessons, and a few of the things that I'm grateful for with you today. And so you can kind of consider this podcast my birthday reflections. The first thing I'd like to reflect upon is the importance of reflection itself. To be a travesty to live to this age in a life unexamined. I'm grateful for the many years of personal growth that have gotten me to this milestone. And I'm grateful in advance for all the years that I'll be blessed with for the rest of my life. But I never want to waste one of those years. Each year must be a year of reflection and growth. So I'd like to start by sharing with you a few of my favorite life and leadership lessons that I wrote. I sat there kind of stream of consciousness this morning, and I wrote 22 things 22 life and leadership lessons that are some of my favorites that I've benefited from the most over my 53 years of life. The truth is, of course, I could have kept writing and writing and writing because there are so many more, but these are the ones that came to me first, stream of consciousness, and they're ones I wanted to share with you today. Number one, life is 10% what happens and 90% how we react to what happens. It's not only one of the black belt leadership principles that we teach here at Krav Maga Martial Arts, but it's also one of the truths that's served me best over the many years since I've understood the principle. Number two, nothing is ever as good or as bad as it seems, and neither is any person. Number three, most people are mostly good and everyone is dealing with something. We should seek first to understand and do our best to help these people while avoiding judgment. Number four, happiness doesn't come from fun or distractions or possessions, but it comes from living a life of purpose, passion, and with the right people. Number five, everything happens for a reason and it serves me well. And even when I don't actually understand it at the moment, which in retrospect was many times, and I'm sure that you could say the same. Number six, I am good enough and I can do better. And, I put this one in there. I think the reason this one was top of mind for me is because one of my students actually sent me an email this morning, and in it, he was asking for some advice, and it was specifically on the subject of imposter syndrome. And if you know what imposter syndrome is, it's the condition which is actually very, very common to many people. And I think especially men, and I think especially high-performing, achievement-minded men is, imposter syndrome is the feeling that you're never good enough, that you're kind of fooling the world, or you're fooling the people around you. And so I actually made a video for him as well on that subject where I answered the question. I might even share that as I might have my son also share that as podcast number 29. This one is 28 and that one is 29 because I did it as a Facebook Live this morning, but it's probably worthy of a podcast, to be honest. It's an important subject. So number six was that, you are good enough. I shared that I spent much of my young life in that, but that now, after years and years of growing, that I've realized that, you can live life to its full potential. And that you are good enough. I'm reading kind of off of the blog from this morning, and I just saw a typo that I let go out. It's kind of funny. And Miss Ruth approved the thing for me, and I think made some changes, but I think I might have sent it out before the changes actually got made. So anyway, somebody will get a laugh with this too. Number 7, leadership lessons that I most benefit from over the years is win-win or no deal. Of course, that's, something I learned from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Dr. Stephen Covey, many, many years ago. But it's something that I truly live by today. I was speaking to a young man yesterday that is growing up and developing to serve a place here at Krav Martial Arts, and I shared that important truth with him, that that win-win or no deal is a position that not only is the best for everyone involved in the long term, it's the only lasting one in the long term, but it's also one that treats people with dignity and respect, because not every deal is good for both parties, and it needs to be something that we pursue. Number 8, give everyone respect, love, and grace. Trust people first. See the potential in everyone. And, it's especially true in the dojo, right? Like, I see every student not as they are, but as they can be. And then very, very often they will go forth and live into that potential. Number 9, but also keep your inner circle close. While I respect, love, and trust everyone first and give everyone grace, there's an inner circle that only knows my innermost plans and secrets and goals and strengths and weaknesses, because everyone needs an inner circle. Number 10, extreme ownership. This is the book by Jocko Willink. You should really read or listen to if you have not. The audible version is amazing, by the way. But the basic premise is, if it's to be, it's up to me. I will not blame anyone else or any circumstance or any situation for the problems in my life or for anything that goes wrong. I always can find a way to take responsibility. And that's the best thing to do, because we can only fix and make better the things that we take responsibility for. Number 11, there are no right or wrong personalities. They each have their own unique strengths and liabilities. And I actually made a suggestion that if anyone who hasn't read Personality Plus by Florence Littler should definitely do that. That book was life-changing for me when I read it. And then, by the way, if you're a parent, you need to read the follow-on Personality Plus for parents. Number 12, leadership is the lid on effectiveness. And that, of course, is from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, which is the book study that we are actually doing right now at Krav Maga Martial Arts. Number 13, few things are more valuable nor easy to perceive during times of real trouble or real success than our real friends. Number 13, oh, that was 13. Number 14, gratitude and vision are the yin yang of success. And by that, I mean, I'm so grateful for how far I've come to this point, but I'm not satisfied. I'm not done. I'm not complacent. I'm also hungry for where my own personal and professional development and that of my organization, for where we are going. Number 15, one of the most critical ingredients to organizational success is the right team. And that's something that has been one of the most important leadership revelations and growth of recent years for me, is growing, building, acquiring, and developing the right team at Krav Maga Martial Arts. And but then the revelation I had this morning, actually, this truly came out as a result of the writing, was that, while this is so true for the success of an organization, I think it's true for the success of a life, that we surround ourselves with people that can be our cheerleaders, our sounding boards, our support, our mentors. Right? We need a team of people. We even need people, perhaps mentors in different areas of our life that we want to be better. People with fruit on the tree that can help us become the best and highest version of ourselves. Number 17, the power of life and death is in the tongue. You may have heard this one before, but it's so true. And I mean, of course, that we have to just be so careful what we say, because we cannot bring these things back. And especially if it's to a loved one or somebody that you have great influence over, we have a responsibility to speak the right things into these people's lives. Number 18, the mind. What we think, how we think, what we believe, and how we wield it are the very secrets of success. And course, there are many great books. I should have referenced some books there for people to read too. Think and Grow Rich, the Magic of Thinking Big, and and others are just As a Man Thinketh. These are all great books on the power of the mind. Next one is number 19. Next is who we associate with and what we do, almost as important as our own control of our own mind. Number 20, God is great all the time and is always with us, even when we don't think so. 21, people will surprise you. This is true in many ways. And, I could obviously have used the example of people that have let me down in business relationships or other things, but, a much less precarious and less delicate example to share is that for the first decade that I've been making a living teaching people martial arts, I really believe that I could pick out who would be the best black belts early on. And once in a while, that's true. In the case where I see the potential that the student has, the student believes me, and then the student sticks around long enough to live into that potential. But unfortunately, so many more times I've seen the most talented and gifted people quit and never fulfill their potential, while I have seen some that I would not have chosen for whatever reasons. Rather at that time, it seemed like a lack of initiative, a lack of work ethic, or rather it was a lack of focus or seriousness or whatever it was, or they just were overcoming the greatest barriers and challenges. And sometimes those people stick around and become amazing, amazing black belt leaders. And I think this is such an important lesson, and not just for, certainly it's a great lesson for my instructors and future instructors in the dojo, because it speaks to the fact that every single person should be treated as though they're going to become a great black belt one day, regardless of how they start. There's a great lesson for all of us in every area of life, isn't it? For the very purpose of this thing, that as we live our lives, everyone has an opportunity to live into our full potential. And in the same way, all of the people we come may surprise us for the good or for the bad. So we should be in tune to that. Number 22. And this is the point where I shared that I could go on and on, but that I wasn't going to do that. So here's what I shared as number 22. While I've learned so much in my life, and especially over the last 21 of my 53 years, I've only just begun. Just as the new black belt realizes how much he has to learn when he or she is born again, and begins to go from basic technique and learning towards understanding, I feel like I learn and grow more every year. And every year, of course, being comprised of every month, week, and day along the way. So my closing lesson for the blog is to never stop learning. Next, I shared a dozen things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for God in my life, his love, grace, and salvation, his hand of favor and hedge of protection, for the way he's made my crooked way straight. I'm grateful he loved me and had a plan for me, even while I was still denying that he even existed. I'm grateful for my amazing wife and how she helps me with the business and life. I'm grateful for my amazing mentors, past, present, and future, for my for all the great black belt leaders and others that I get to mentor, for my kids and grandkids, my sisters and brothers and mother-in-law and all the rest of my family and my great friends. I'm grateful for the past, because the past is where we derive both good memories and lessons learned. And I'm also grateful for the present and the future. I'm grateful that we get to learn from the past, live in the present to create the future. Another great book, by the way, it's called The Present. And I'm grateful that I was born into a free country in which we could do all those things. I'm grateful for great books in my dojo, and that I love the work I do and that I get to do work that makes a difference. I'm grateful for the gift of writing and that I get to do it. And I guess also I would say, now that I'm using the podcast medium here, I'm grateful for the gift of spoken communication as well, and that I get to do that. I am grateful for great weather, great rides, winding roads, great destinations, and traveling mercies. I'm grateful that I get to teach, learn, and associate with some of the greatest people in the world. And then I shared a quote, and this has honestly been my favorite quote, and one that I've tried to lean into for a couple of decades now. Live, laugh, love, and leave a legacy. With that, I'm going to be kind of closing this podcast today. And I have a few more meetings to do this day, and then I'm going to go home and celebrate. I'm going to, my wife has made me a ravo, my favorite dish, and that will be my birthday meal later today. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and I'll see you back here in the dojo or somewhere on this journey we call life very, very soon.